-60 turns boiling water to snow before it hits the ground. Your breath is still warm and wet at 37 inside your chest. Stand on an island 3,000 kilometers from anyone, with both facts true at once, and the clock starts now. You have no shelter, no fire, no fuel, just the clothes you're wearing. The question is not whether -60 will hurt you, it is how many minutes you have before your own body starts deciding which parts of you to keep alive. That decision has already been made before for other people in this exact cold, and the answer is not what toughness tells you. You will think you have hours. You do not. Picture the island, not tropical, not green. A dome of ice the size of a small country, ringed by cliffs, sitting alone in the Southern Ocean, where the nearest neighbor is a research station 2 days by ship if the sea lets you through. Berkner Island in the Weddell Sea is like that. 900 kilometers long, completely covered in ice. No trees, no buildings, no source of heat unless you brought it. Winter there averages -24. On a bad day it drops to -49. Further south, on the plateau at Vostok, the air has hit -89.2. That was July 21st, 1983. Still the coldest air ever measured on Earth. -60 is not the freak record. It is the normal working temperature for a month at a stretch. Go north instead, to Ward Hunt Island off the top of Ellesmere, 750 kilometers from the North Pole. Mean annual air temperature -16.7. Winter storms push it to -60 with wind. No wood, no soil, just snow and rock and wind that never stops. For scale, Yakutsk houses about 355,000 people on continuous permafrost, where winter sits near -40 for 3 months and the record is -64.4. Yet even their buildings are adapted, and schools only close near -50. That is why this island can be called the most isolated. Isolation is not just distance, it is that nothing there will help you make heat. Minute 1. The air pulls heat from any skin it can find. At -60 with no wind, exposed skin starts to freeze in under 2 minutes. Add a 10 meter per second wind, which on these islands is a calm day, and the wind chill index drops below -62. Canada's wind chill chart puts that in the black zone. Frostbite in 2 minutes or less. Face, nose, fingertips, the places blood has to travel furthest. Your body knows this, so it does the first thing it always does in extreme cold. It closes the pipes to your hands and feet. Vasoconstriction, blood pulled back to the chest and head where your organs are. It is trying to save you. It also means your fingers and toes are now on their own. You feel them go white and waxy. That is frostnip, the warning stage. Keep them exposed for 5 to 10 minutes and the water inside the cells starts to form ice crystals. That is frostbite. The crystals rip the cell walls. Nerves stop reporting because they are frozen. You stop feeling cold in that finger, which feels like progress. It is not. Steel tells the same story. Most ordinary steel turns brittle below -25. At -60 it will snap instead of bend. Your skin is softer than steel, but the physics is similar. Water expands when it freezes. Tissue does not stretch. By minute 10, without a cover over your face and without deep insulation over your hands, the damage is no longer reversible with just warming. In Oymyakon, a village of 462, where more than 10 minutes outside can mean frostbite, people treat -67 as the line where an unprotected person dies in minutes. You will not die in 10 minutes, but you have already shortened the number of fingers you will have if you get out. The cold does not wait for you to build something. It starts billing you immediately. At this point, most people imagine the right answer is to tough it out. Keep moving. Generate heat. Do not give in. It feels true because we are taught that cold is beaten by effort. And for about 20 minutes, that lie even helps. Move hard and your muscles make heat. You feel warmer. Your hands tingle back a little. So you keep walking the island, looking for wood that is not there, stomping to stay alive. Here is why that answer is satisfying and wrong. Movement makes sweat. Sweat is water, on your skin, under your clothes. As long as you are working, you do not notice how wet you are getting. Then you stop. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you think you have found a spot out of the wind. The sweat that kept you warm while you moved now sits against you and starts to evaporate and conduct. Cotton is famous for this. Once wet, cotton loses almost all its insulation and keeps you wet against your skin. That is why polar teachers say cotton kills. Not as a slogan, as conduction. Wet fabric moves heat off you about 25 times faster than dry air. The same effort that warmed you for 15 minutes now drops your core faster than if you had stood still and shivered. People say, we'll just work harder then, never stop. That is where the second bill comes. Shivering alone burns about 400 calories per hour. That is a full hot meal burned every hour just sitting and shaking, more than walking, and you do it without going anywhere. You run through your stored glycogen in a few hours. You get dehydrated because the air is very dry and you are breathing out moisture with every puff you see. You do not feel thirsty the way you do in summer. You are still losing water. By hour 2, your legs feel heavy. By hour 3, you start to make small mistakes, fumbling a zip, forgetting to cover your nose. So what actually buys time? Something that looks useless. Snow. Go back to that island in your head. No trees means no fire. No rock cave means no walls. The only building material is snow itself. It feels absurd to hide in the thing that is cold. But snow is mostly trapped air, and trapped air is insulation. A pile of snow is a wall full of tiny air pockets. The Inuit and the Sami knew it first. You pile snow, let it settle and sinter for an hour, then dig out a low hollow just big enough to lie in, with a hole smaller than you near the floor for air. That is a quinji, sometimes called a digloo. The physics is plain. Outside, -60 and wind. Inside the hollow, your own body heat warms the trapped air to near zero. Australian field notes put it simply. Temperatures inside a snow shelter will be at least zero no matter what is going on outside. Even when outside is -20, inside stays just below freezing with a few bodies in it. On Ellesmere, teams have logged -30 outside and +1 inside a well-built quinji. That is a 60-degree swing from a pile of snow in your own breath. You do not need a fire to do that. You need to block wind and keep a roof that does not conduct. Snow does both if you keep walls at least 30 centimeters and keep the entrance low so cold air pools out and warm air stays trapped near the ceiling. There is a rule you cannot cheat. You must ventilate. Poke a small hole with a ski pole. Keep it open, or breath moisture will freeze over it. And you must not get the inside wet. That brings us to the next trap, which is not the snow at all. It is you. If you sweat inside that snow hollow, you are back in trouble. You went in to get out of wind, but if your base layer is cotton, the sweat stays. Cotton can hold more than 27 times its own weight in water. It dries slowly, and when wet, it conducts heat straight off your skin. Wool or synthetic wicks it, moves it away, keeps some insulation even when damp. So the first job after you dig is to manage moisture. Open your jacket before you sweat. Change into dry if you can. Never wear cotton next to skin when it is cold. The second job is water. You are thirsty. Snow is everywhere. The wrong move is to eat it. It is water, but to turn snow to water inside you, your body has to melt it. Snow is much colder than your core and mostly air. You need about 8 to 10 quarts of snow to make 1 quart of liquid. The US Army Guide says you can eat a little if you must, but it will lower your core. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is blunter. Do not eat snow as it lowers your body temperature. Dehydration still gets you anyway. Cold, dry air pulls moisture out fast. You lose it in breath, you see. Roughly a liter a day just breathing, and thirst does not signal it well in the cold. If you are dehydrated, your body is worse at making heat, which makes you colder, which makes you shiver harder, which burns more water. Instead, melt snow outside your body. Sun on a dark cloth, a clear bag, even a bottle held inside your jacket after you have melted it, not before. If you have no container and no heat, you ration the small dry work you do. Breathe through your nose, keep your mouth closed. By hour 6, with a dry snow shelter and water discipline, you have turned -60 outside into -2 or 0 inside. Without it, you have already entered hypothermia, shivering at its max, then judgment slips. Between hour 1 and hour 24 is where most unprepared people do not come back. Not from a dramatic freeze, but from a slide. Core temperature 35 is the threshold. At 35 to 32, you are in mild hypothermia. You shiver hard, you feel confused, apathetic, and bad at decisions. That is not a character flaw. It is physiology. The brain runs badly when cold. At 32 to 28, moderate hypothermia. Shivering can stop, speech slurs, you stumble. That is why the timeline matters, hour by hour. You burn 400 calories an hour just shivering. Over 24 hours, that is 9,600 if you could keep it up, which you cannot. You run out of fuel, you run out of water, you stop making heat. Now add the objection you are already thinking, and you are right to think it. You are saying, come on, people live in -60 all the time. Siberia, Yakutsk, the Antarctic. They work, they are fine. Are you telling me minus 60 kills in a day? Yes, with nothing, it does. The difference is they are not with nothing. That is the mechanism that actually decides it, not how hard you are. Stroud measured it with labeled water on the ice. He and Fiennes burned nearly 7,000 calories a day for weeks, spiking over 11,000 on the 10-day climb to the plateau, while Scott's men ate about 4,400 a day and lost 30 to 40 kilograms before they starved. Stay in the first day with nothing. You have your snow hollow at 0 if you built it. If you did not, you are still in wind. Your core keeps falling half a degree at a time. You decide to eat snow because your mouth is dry, it lowers you further. You decide to keep walking because you feel you should do something. You sweat, you get wetter, you get colder. By hour 12, you are exhausted, shivering weaker. By hour 20, you are clumsy and may feel oddly warm as vessels dilate near the end. People have been found undressed in snow because of that. By hour 24, without insulation near 0 and without water and calories, an unprotected person in minus 60 wind does not reliably survive. With shelter and discipline, you stretch to days, but the island gives you nothing for the next week. There is a quieter way to picture it. Not numbers. A single person in a snow hollow as light fades. You are lying on snow you have pissed flat to make a bench so the cold air drains below you. The walls are curved, white, lit only by the gray coming through snow. It is silent except for wind outside you can no longer feel. Your breath makes a thin crust of frost above your face, that it falls as fine snow. You are not warm, you are at 0. But 0 is 60 degrees warmer than outside. That is the difference between dying tonight and waking tomorrow. The skeptic was right about one thing, and we should say it plain. People do live through minus 60. They do work in it. The doctor who wintered a full year at Halley Research Station on the Brunt Ice Shelf, Gavin Francis, wrote that even today outdoor work there takes more than 5,000 calories a day, and you still come in, you do not stay out. Mike Stroud, who walked across Antarctica with Ranulph Fiennes, logged 4,300 calories, and it was not enough. They lost weight every day despite eating 57% fat to save weight. The point is not that minus 60 is survivable if you are tough enough. The point is it is only survivable if a system carries you. That system is not in you, it is around you. What does that system look like when it works? Start with shelter that does what your snow hollow does, but does it with engineering. Heated, insulated, windproof, raised so drift does not bury it. Then fuel, constant fuel. Because without fuel, that shelter is just a tent that cools to outside temperature when the stove dies. A snow wall stays near 0 as long as you are inside it. A tent does not. At Halley, automation now saves about 75% of annual fuel, which tells you how much was burned just to stay warm when crewed. And winter has still withstood minus 55 and 70 knot winds. Then food. At base camp, men eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories. When sledging, they need 4,800 and it is still not enough to hold weight. In hard field work, the number is 5,000 plus. Today still, and early Arctic rations ran 4,000 to 5,000 compared to 3,000 to 3,500 in the tropics. Then time outside. No one stays out for 24 hours. Work limits are minutes at wind chill below minus 62. Then you rotate, then you check each other for white patches, numbness, confusion. The most unglamorous part is redundancy. 2 stoves, 2 ways to melt water, 2 ways to make heat, because one will fail. The team that drilled at Berkner learned that at Thyssenhoya. Mean annual minus 24, but winter hits minus 49 and you still need power every hour. That is why the long-term answer is not days with gear. With full infrastructure, it is indefinitely. Not because humans adapt to minus 60, because we build a small warm world and never step outside it without a clock. So add it up. With nothing, you are counting in minutes to first damage, and in hours to judgment failing. With a dry snow shelter built in the first hour and strict moisture and melt discipline, you buy nights. With proper polar clothing, food at 4,000 to 6,000 calories, fuel and a heated hut, you turn minus 60 into a workplace you visit. The cold does not test toughness. It tests whether you brought a system, which leaves the question no one on that island can answer for you. If the system is what keeps you alive, how long would you keep following its rules after the radio went silent and no one was coming to check the stove?